All right, everyone, welcome in for another episode of T&J Sports Podcast. Drizzy's here.
Tstalls.
Stalls in the house. We are going over NFL weeks 1 and 2. We're going to be recapping, predicting. Didn't get into a NFL preview show, so we're going to be kind of playing a little catch up here. Um, yeah, and so first off, welcome back, and we're going to start out with the NFC conference. We'll go through, um, see what's going on in the NFC. First of all, let's just say glad to have football back. Been a great 2 weeks, not personally from either of our teams, really,
Yeah.
but it's good to have football back on Sundays.
Good
I
to
guess
pull
big
up three TVs, man, and watch a whole bunch of games. It is great. 5 days in
it
a row of football. Oh,
it is pretty wonderful. It's all that's on my TV anymore. So we'll start with the NFC. The way we're gonna go through, I guess, is first off, I guess big news out of week 2. Hit on Trey Lance, busted up his ankle. Uh, so good thing the Niners kept Jimmy G. He came back in, led them to a win, I believe, last week. But what do you feel about one, the Niners keeping Jimmy G evidently caused a little rift in the locker room with Trey Lance, but honestly, it seems like the best option that they kept him at this point.
I think the 49ers looked into that. They'll say it was a strategy. They, wanted to keep him around to help out Trey Lance. They did not see this going down, but I mean, sometimes it happens. You just look into good decisions like that. Honestly, I wouldn't say it was a bad decision to try to go ahead and move forward with Trey Lance. I just think you're putting a young QB who, yes, he was great in college, but he's coming from the FCS, probably the number one best FCS school there is, but he's coming from the FCS. He missed his whole senior year because of COVID. And then, drafting him his first year, making him sit underneath Garoppolo and seeing how good Garoppolo was doing, they can say all they want. Garoppolo led them to, conference finals. I mean, conference championship. I mean, why are you trying to move forward? I mean, move away from this guy. I mean, Jimmy G was once upon looked as probably the next best thing in New England before Tom Brady decided to turn back the clock and keep playing a couple more years, and then they booted him out of there. Garoppolo is a great quarterback. I mean, if Denver didn't go out and get Russell Wilson, and if I didn't get hyped up about maybe getting Aaron Rodgers, I would have taken Garoppolo because he knows how to move the ball. He knows what to do on offense. He's a smart QB. I would want the guy that studied under the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I think for one, it's the best possible scenario out there that they kept him around. But I also think it's their, even if Trey was healthy, it's their best chance to win
Definitely.
and move on this year. I mean, they went in and beat Aaron Rodgers on the road in a playoff game last year and then came close in that conference championship game with LA. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback by any means. And I think the Niners are in good hands for the rest of the season. Um, for one, they're sitting at 1-1 on the year. They've got your Broncos this week, Sunday Night Football. That's going to be, or no, yeah, that's
Yeah,
going to be a pretty decent game.
I hope.
Um, oh, so yeah. So we'll move off of that. I think we both agree Jimmy G being in place leaves the Niners in really good hands. I don't think they're going to fall off at all from
And
that
the division
aspect.
they're in, sorry, the division they're in, I think they should make the playoffs no problem with Jimmy G.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll make the
what do
playoffs.
you got? The Rams. You've
Yeah.
already beat the Seahawks, and so yeah, I mean, and the Cardinals. So I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but I definitely think that they'll be in the running to win that division. Actually,
Rams
um,
tell me anything.
speaking,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. But speaking of another team that's going to win their division, I think the Eagles. They
Mm,
look good. Jalen Hurts looks good.
hope
Like
it up.
better than I think I've ever seen Jalen Hurts play football. He
Yeah.
has been on a roll. here this year. He's got something to prove, I feel like, and he's in a very winnable, easy division. Um, through 2 weeks, you're tied at 2-0 with the Giants. So a little bit of no one predicted that for the Giants, but I mean, Jalen Hurts, they went out got AJ Brown. Miles Sanders, a running back. I think it's a pretty good chance the Eagles will take that division pretty easily. What do you think?
I think so too. I want to see Jalen Hurts continue to do well because for so long they said that ever since his junior year that the whole mishap in the championship game where Tua came in and threw the game winning touchdown and he had to go through that horrible offseason where they're like, Tua is the guy after Jalen Hurts led this team to a conference championship and national championship. It's crazy that they made him go through this. And then he had to go to Oklahoma and he's freaking showed that he was a great quarterback at Oklahoma. And now he's showing like, hey, I'm not just good because I went to the powerhouse Alabama and had studs around me. And then I went to Oklahoma, had a great offensive coordinator and great talent around me there. I'm that guy when it comes to the best level at the NFL level. Now, can he keep it consistently? Can he keep doing it for more than 2 games? We'll see. We will see because everybody knows NFL 2 weeks, you can look like the man, the next best thing, and then next 2 weeks, you can look like a bust. So I hope he
Yeah.
does well. And I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team.
That's definitely always a plus. But I mean, their next two games, they've got the Commanders on Sunday and then the Jaguars the next Sunday after that. So, I mean, next two games, definitely very winnable games for them. It's looking pretty good with Philadelphia and whatnot. Taking that lowly NFC East division, which is consistently the worst in football
Yeah.
every year. So we'll head on over, jumping around here a little bit. NFC North,
Mm-hmm.
Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. So who do you think will win the North after 2 weeks?
Ugh. You know, it's kind of the same with like how we said in our college podcast. It's too early to tell this, early in the season, but the North, I would love to see Chicago do well, but all in all, this is the Packers. This is still the Packers conference. I mean division. So I really don't see the Vikings. Their performance this past weekend was not great. Um, But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get a rhythm with his receivers because I mean he's going against Tom Brady this weekend, and the main thing I take away from this game is it's the battle of no receivers. I mean these are two GOAT quarterbacks, and they're going to have to go out there and make something out of nothing with the receivers they have. Tom Brady doesn't have his star receivers right now, with them all being out or getting into fights, and then Aaron Rodgers doesn't have anybody because they didn't help him out by getting receivers, and he also took too much money. But that's another story. I think it's the Packers. Keep it short. I think it's the Packers division.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with you there. I think probably the Packers will take that at some point. But could you imagine just like looking at that division and the receivers that are in that division? Just I guess it's Minnesota and Detroit, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Just imagine if Aaron Rodgers just had one of those guys this year.
If you flip flop
And
Aaron Rodgers with Kirk Cousins, the Vikings will be the clear cut favorite probably to win the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense will definitely have to play better, but
their rush defense is very bad.
yeah. But I think Aaron Rodgers will outscore anybody with those two receivers. Adam
Yeah, I
Thielen will definitely
mean,
have more than one catch. I don't even think he had a
yeah.
catch last game, actually.
So I mean, I got kind of I think the Lions might mess around and take second place in that division. Honestly, I mean,
I'm rooting for him, and I'm not just saying that because I'm near Detroit right now, but I'm actually rooting for them to do well. It sucks to see them do so poorly. See a team be bad for so long. Like I think ever since I've been born, we've been born. I have not seen the Detroit Lions be good, other than that one anomaly where Matt Stafford and Megatron were just balling, and they did what they could, but they still will always be that 0-16 team. So I really want to see them turn around. Dan Campbell's a likable coach.
He is. He's just a football guy, and he
Mhm.
just I feel like he's on
He's
the outside. You get in 2022 and being that football guy and toughen up and stuff, it just doesn't correlate well anymore. But
Mhm.
I also feel like he can turn around and like he also has that side where he'll stick up and care for his guys and whatnot while also demanding excellence. And I think, you got Jared Goff playing well. They've got good weapons on offense. Defense looks all right. Uh,
Swift is nice. Swift is nice.
so, I mean, uh, that's I guess it could be like kind of a hot take. I think the Lions might come in second in that division if the Vikings play like they are, and I don't think the Bears are anything once again. So
Sucks. I wish the Bears would do better. Justin Fields, I don't know if you have it about the Bears in your notes, but Justin Fields' comments towards fans is exactly right. I don't care what any fan has to say if they're mad about what he said. Saying it's the I don't feel bad for pretty much. I don't feel bad for the fans being upset that we lost the game because there's people in here that livelihood is like getting better at this game. They're working day in and day out to actually win these games, and then going out and lose. I think it's more heartbreaking for the players. So if the fans want to boo and scream at them, just try being in their cleats. I mean, you go out there and practice every single day, giving your all, then just falling short. It sucks, man. That people need to start looking at a player perspective and not just as a fan. But that's fans, that's sports, man. You're gonna have to learn to tolerate that. Justin will probably take a big hit for saying what he said, but I agree with him.
I mean, yeah, there's a certain aspect of an agreement, but at the same time, like there's just things that are not needed to be said
Yeah,
at a certain time.
yeah, he'll
You
learn. Man.
know,
He's young. He'll learn. He'll learn.
he's young, and like you said, he came out and apologized today. I mean, he's pissed they lost the way that they did. He didn't want to come out and talk to him, but talk to the media, but obligations he had to, um, which he'll learn and grow from it. And I mean, like you said, he is young, great talent. Got to protect him and put some weapons around him to do anything. But
Mhm.
uh, I mean, the comment, yeah, you do get mad as a fan. Obviously, fan short for fanatic, which means
Yeah,
crazy. So, uh, but I mean, especially in Chicago, like Philadelphia, it's tough places to play if you're not doing well.
yeah.
Um, but he'll learn. Sticking with the Lions for a sec, do you think that the Lions could maybe be a sneaky playoff team in the NFC? Because I mean, you're getting one bid from the East with the Eagles, I think,
Hmm.
uh, maybe Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and then the 49ers and Rams. I mean, there could be a couple, a few spots out there for the taking. I'm just thinking if they play up to, their level and their offense stays good in that division, do you think they could maybe be a sneaky playoff team? Because I think they can if they play up to what they're, if Jared Goff continues to play how
Yeah.
he's playing and looks good and spreading the ball around.
I do say looking at their schedule. I mean, this is the NFL. It changes rapidly. It doesn't matter who you're playing on any given Sunday because these are pros. So you can't really look at it as a college schedule like you'll see a gimme team on a
Mhm.
college schedule like, oh, that's a blowout. Whereas in the NFL, you'll think it's a sucky team, but they play better that day. But looking at their schedule, I mean, Minnesota, not that great. Seattle, not that great. New England, they're trying to get better. Got a bye week. Then you have probably the toughest part of their schedule where they go at Dallas versus Miami versus Green Bay. And then you got a little easy stint with Chicago and New York. And then you have probably it is your toughest challenge of the year in Buffalo. So out of those games I just mentioned, I can easily see them winning one, two, three, four going. They'll go. I see them going 5-4 in these next couple game in the next 9 games, and that can set them on course to continue to do more because the back end of their schedule is
The
pretty
back end of their schedule looks like after that Buffalo game looks like
pretty
5-1 to end the year,
yeah.
possibly. You
Maybe
know,
Green Bay sits their starters that last game, but Green Bay's going to be trying to do the same thing and play better. So they probably needed that win at the end of the year. So they probably will play Aaron Rodgers. But in all likelihood, they're resting Aaron Rodgers. So they could squeak out that win and be number 2 in the division, like you said. I can see them sneaking in. It just depends, what you'll get from the other divisions because nobody's playing like the AFC South right now where nobody has a win. But it they could do it. They could be that sneaky team. I agree with that take.
I think it could happen. All right, let's move on. Let's go NFC South real quick. One, you got the Panther and Falcons sitting at 0-2. I mean, I am surprised by the Panthers. I'm not surprised by the Falcons.
Yeah.
With
Aaron
those,
rebuild mode.
surprised by how poorly Tampa Bay has looked through 2 games,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're 2-0. I mean, they don't look that great.
Yeah. You think
And
Father
then
Time's getting Tom Brady?
I think Giselle is getting Tom Brady. So I think, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if those rumors are true and she is pissed off at him,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, he's probably got a lot on his mind. Because I mean, as you've seen, these over the weekend, he's throwing tablets, throwing hats, throwing temper tantrums, yelling,
Yeah.
cussing out Marshawn Lattimore. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
which is fun. It's all in the heat of the game. I
Mike
don't care
Evans
one bit about
pancaking
that.
guys out there. He
Yeah,
him and Marshawn Lattimore has had 3 balls, like brawls, and it's it's funny to watch because he somehow knows how to just get right to
get
Mark.
under.
He gets there and he freaking puts a beating on Lattimore every single time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's the surprised by the Panthers, 0-2. Definitely thought they would come out, beat the Browns. Thought Baker would play a little bit better. Definitely didn't think they'd lose to the Giants. Now they got the Saints. Uh, division game coming up this week. If Alvin Kamara's back, I mean, as long as Jameis doesn't throw 3 picks again,
Huh.
I mean, I see him starting out 0-3.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
You only do so much with he has Thomas, Olave. I mean, I hope he throws the ball a little bit more to Olave because I have him on my fantasy team. But I mean, Jameis Winston, he's always been the guy to throw high interceptions. I mean, led the league in touchdowns and interceptions a couple years ago. So
yeah. I mean, we'll see. NFC South's just weird. I mean,
yeah,
it's the Bucks and the Saints, and then everybody else.
we'll blame it on
Uh,
early to tell. So we'll go with that.
yeah, we're early to tell on that one. And then, are the Giants for real? Jumping back up to the East. What do we make it? I mean, or are they just lucky? Or are they just,
They've been lucky the whole franchise. Well, at least for the last 20 years. The 2 Super Bowl wins, I'll say lucky. I think Tom Brady just didn't feel like winning that day. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But Giants, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they do this week. I mean, Daniel Jones is still not nothing to be, threatened by offensively, but Saquon Barkley is. Saquon Barkley is having a comeback year. I think he's the leader in comeback player of the year so far. Um, he's balling. He's everything for this team, and you can see that. So if he goes down, then obviously the Giants will, probably not losing. I mean, not win any more games the rest of the year. But it goes where Saquon can take them. Those thighs can move, so he can
I
take them.
mean, Saquon almost has as many rushing yards this year as Daniel Jones has passing yards. So,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like you said, too early to tell. We're gonna recap and everything over the past few weeks. I think we can all agree Kirk Cousins is a very below average quarterback, doesn't deserve the money that he's getting paid, and honestly, Minnesota deserves every little bit of torture that they are putting themselves through. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. Wait, Wandale Robinson needs to get more catches, man. He only has 1 catch, 1 target for 5 yards. They didn't get that man the ball.
Definitely get that man the ball, but I also think he was out last week.
Was he? Okay. Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah, I see that. He only played one game. He must be hurt. So
so. I had him on my fantasy team. I think he got hurt on that one catch. So
yeah.
just his luck.
Yeah.
All right. So you got anything else you would hit on in the NFC? I think we pretty much touched on all of
Uh,
we got them so far.
I still think the winner of the NFC. Um, I mean, it can be the Rams. It can. It's the Rams can bounce back, obviously, but they don't have their past. Their rush threat anymore, like they did when Von Miller was there. They still have Bobby Wagner. That's a great pickup they had in the offseason. So I can see the Rams bouncing back and getting it together. Buccaneers, they just can't stay healthy on at receiver, and Giselle is really preying on their downfall. Cowboys, yeah, I don't know what to
I
make of
mean,
that.
Dak's done for the next
Yeah,
still 5 weeks. So there's at that point, it doesn't matter what their schedule looks like, even if
I
they
think it's the
do.
Eagles. It's Eagles' time to take flight again. So hopefully they can get a repeat of 2018.
Yeah, so we'll see. So that pretty much wraps up the NFC. We can jump over to the AFC. I think we can finally say the AFC is taken over as the best conference, top to bottom, in
By
the
far,
NFL.
I think this is out with the old, which is NFC, in with the new, which is the AFC. All the young, great quarterbacks are in the AFC, minus Jalen Hurts now. But all the young, great talent quarterbacks, probably your top five quarterbacks in the league, are in the AFC. You got half a billion dollar man at with the Chiefs. You got the young gun with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. So the AFC is I think they should win the Super Bowl this year, depending on what team gets in there, obviously. But this team, this division, this conference is stout, and we'll see where they go. And it sucks because I'll start with my team, the Broncos. It's kind of rough what's going on in our conference. You probably have the best conference in football, but these football teams are not playing like the best. At least three out of the four aren't. The Chiefs are playing great. The Chargers just so happened to play against the Chiefs and lost, but they did play great in that game. So it's definitely the Chiefs and Chargers right now. Broncos, man, Russell Wilson and this red zone offense is just not working. Our new coach Hatchett was advertised as a bright offensive coach, and our offense is just struggling. And I don't see why when we have great offensive weapons and Jerry Jeudy, Sutton. We have probably one of the best young running backs in Williams, and we're not utilizing them. We it doesn't make sense why we're going in shotgun so many times in the red zone. I understand it's a passing league, and you want to get Russ, you want Russ to cook and whatnot, but let's not lose common sense. When you're on the 1 yard line, hand off the ball. When you're on the 2 yard line, hand off the ball. 3 yard, 4 or 5, whatever. Hand off the ball at least on first and second down. No, we threw the ball 4 times and 4 downs and got nothing. Big thing I want to say for the Broncos: when you have a young stud at tailback, give the ball to him. If he's not hurt, if he's not exhausted, do not take him out of the game. Melvin Gordon is a great running back, good running back, not great, good running back. He should come in when we need him, but he should not get more red zone snaps than Williams. And we have a tough matchup this week because we have probably one of the best front sevens in defense coming against us in San Francisco. So now that game plan probably is out the window because it's going to be hard to run the ball this week. So Russ better be ready to cook or he's going to get cooked. And, my hopes for us making it to the conference playoff, conference championship and Super Bowl are way out the door.
Yeah, I mean, you only be 1-2 if you drop this weekend. I think the most staggering thing is, you've only scored 32 points for the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, there's teams that have scored less, but there are also teams that we're talking about that aren't very good. Um, it's mind-boggling a little bit. Obviously you get a little bit of hiccups, new coach, new system, new quarterback. You still got receivers in your defense. Defense seems, I mean, pretty good. You
Yeah. We only gave up 26 points. Yeah.
26 points. That's second in the AFC in points allowed, only behind Buffalo. So I mean that's good company there. But I mean it goes to show that you've got the defense. It just the offense should click soon. You need the offense to click in that division. Um, I'll say Kansas City hasn't looked awfully great. They
Yeah.
didn't look that good against the Chargers the other night. Um, Speaking of the Chargers, had to see how long Justin Herbert has to deal with that rib cartilage, broken rib cartilage,
Yeah.
because it was definitely hurting him the other night while seeing him walk off the field. Um, I mean, that AFC West probably the toughest division. Who knows what the hell's going on with the Raiders?
Hmm.
Um, they probably should have kept that interim coach instead of Josh McDaniels because I think we can all see that Josh McDaniels is still not a great individual coach as a head
Honest.
coach. So
I mean, yeah, yeah. It will always go to the coach when your team's not winning, when you have studs around you. But is Derek Carr really the best driver for this loaded squad?
I mean, he got him to the playoffs last year. He outdueled Herbert in overtime last game of the year, Sunday Night Football. I mean,
Yeah.
he can he's maybe he's Kirk Cousins in a Raider uniform.
Yeah. Um,
But
I think having the best receiver in the game and a top five tight end, you should have more than 4 touchdowns and a higher completion rating. I get it. It's 2 games. 2 games. Asking for more than 4 touchdowns in 2 games is a lot, but freaking you got weapons, man. You got weapons. And you
they
have
went
three
out.
interceptions to that 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, you went out and got Devontae Adams. You got Darren Waller. Give Josh Jacobs the football for
Yeah.
sake for my fantasy hopes at least.
Man,
He's some catches out of the backfield. He hasn't done nothing.
I
So
like I forget he's on the team half the time.
I think they do too. Looking at my fantasy team the last 2 weeks. But I mean, that division,
It's stout.
eh,
It's
it's
stout.
stout. It's pretty stout.
I still think it's the Chiefs and Chargers. Um, if the Chargers can stay healthy, they'll be fine. They definitely need to protect Justin a little bit more. But when he is able to throw the ball, he needs to get it to Mike Williams because Keenan Allen is out with injury. But if Keenan Allen's not there and healthy, give the ball to Mike Williams and he will make it happen. Their defense, again, lights out. Bosa is scary, and Derwin James will definitely dump you on your head if you come his way. So that guy's a
Yeah,
beast. He's a great
that
safety.
that doesn't happen very often, especially
Mm-hmm.
to someone as big as Travis Kelsey. So
Yeah.
AFC West, Chiefs Chargers. I think the Broncos will get going here soon. I don't think
Hey,
it'll be too much longer.
I'm hoping on. I'm not
Uh,
going to be biased. I'm hoping on it, but let's look at the East, AFC East, because they have the best team in NFL right now, and the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there's only so much you can say about Buffalo Bills. They're the early season favorite to win Super Bowl. So they've dominated in their first 2 games. The score difference is 72-17. That's a 55-point difference in those 2 games. Their defense will
that
be.
doesn't happen very often.
It does not. It does not. And it's not just an offensive thing. Their defense is dominant, but they'll be tested this week because they do go against the Dolphins, and that's a division game. So we'll see what they're made of this week, and we'll also see what Miami's made of because Tua struggled in the game against the Ravens, but as we mentioned before, he took off in the second half. So I mean, he has a great connection with Waddle and Hill. So, I mean, they both got 2 touchdowns in that game each, and he ended up with 6 touchdowns total. So, I think Tua is coming too. I like that saying Tua is coming too. So,
Two is coming too. Yeah, I mean, just how good the Dolphins are the Dolphins, we'll find out a little bit this weekend. I mean, if they click like that for a full game, watch out. I mean, those two could, but between Miami and Buffalo, definitely gonna, pull some shockers for the rest of the year. Maybe, uh, Patriots, nothing special.
yeah,
Jets will just, yeah. I mean,
I
it's
put
the
them
Miami
all in a
Buff.
category. My bad.
Yeah,
I put them all in a category. Like, I don't even want to talk about them. They're nothing
yeah,
special.
yeah. I mean, Miami, Buffalo. I think we will get a good look at that this week and see, what everyone's made of, but I mean Buffalo just looks
Good.
good. When
Yeah.
you watch them, they look great. It's like when you watch Georgia every Saturday and then you flip on Buffalo on Sunday. I mean, they just look absolutely fantastic.
They
So
just look
they're
good.
definitely living up to that preseason hype of Super Bowl favorites, which I was kind of like, well, Josh Allen hasn't got it done. He's
Yeah.
had the opportunities, hasn't made it happen.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, he looks like he's going to make it happen this year.
Yeah.
So I'll be thoroughly shocked if the Bills don't at least make the conference championship because they should make the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It'll be the East versus West in the conference championship. Another sneaky team that can make it is the North. Out of the North is the Ravens. Because the game and how they played in the first 7 quarters of the of the season, they played great. Lamar looks like he's aiming for more than just his receivers. He's aiming for the MVP. His performances has been stellar. Their defense is their Achilles heel, though. I mean, they're just getting dog walked against out there defensively. They shouldn't have gave up so much during the offseason. They should have actually went out and did more instead of mess around with Lamar's contract. Well, not make Lamar a contract. So honestly, I was talking to somebody about that earlier today. I think you may not see Lamar Jackson on this team next year because he definitely deserves more. You can obviously see this team says they love him, says he's the future, but you can't strike a deal. I mean, this guy deserves everything, and he showed that in these, again, these first 7 quarters. That fourth quarter was horrible on both sides of the ball, but can only do so much. And we'll see what they're made of against the Patriots because the Patriots may not be great, but Bill Belichick is still a great defensive coach, and he will scheme up against the Ravens. So we'll see what Lamar's about this weekend and how he attacks this defense.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar's Lamar. We've seen it for years. I think he's gonna do him as long as he stays healthy. Someone's gonna pay him
Yeah.
this offseason, whether it's Baltimore or whatnot. I'm just thinking if you spent all summer coming up with a contract with Lamar that you couldn't get anything on. You didn't get any defensive help. You've given up 51 points over 2 games,
Mm-hmm.
one of those being in a loss. Most of those points probably coming in, I mean, what they scored.
And that last quarter, really, that last quarter
Yeah,
was
like I
what got
mean,
him. I mean, he gave
it's
up 28 points.
that's a little alarming. That's a little alarming. To just fall apart like that.
Yeah.
Um, Staying with the North, Steelers. I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to be Ravens, Bengals, the Browns. Who knows where they'll
Ooh,
be
you
at
you still
when
got
Sean
faith in the
Watson
Bengals?
comes back. I'm not jumping off the bench. I'm not jumping off the bridge yet. I
Yeah.
mean, they gotta protect better. They gotta be better on the O line to give him time to throw the ball downfield. Because I mean, it's just like when you got Tua that throwing to Tyreek, Josh Allen throwing to Diggs, Burrow throws the ball to Chase. I mean, anything can happen. The
True.
dude is lightning fast. Dude's a playmaker.
Looks like it's
Uh,
interception when that happens right now, though.
yeah. So I mean, we'll see. Can't start 0-3 at
No.
that point. It'll be pretty alarming. But you're at the Jets. You shouldn't lose this game. You lost to this game last year, but you should not lose it this year.
I mean, Joe
Um,
Burrow's taking every precaution to make sure they win. He deleted his social media
I mean,
just to prepare for this game. So I don't know if that seems good, kind of good. Like, all right, our quarterback's really focused, but he's really focused against the Jets to make sure they don't go 0-3. So it's kind of like, come on, Joe. You're the reigning AFC champions.
yeah, and I mean,
Come on.
we kind of, especially myself, forget last year they weren't really the greatest
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
very average record, you know, made the playoffs. I think is what the 4 seed or 4 or 5 seed. I mean, it's not like they were 11-5, 12-4. They
Mm-hmm.
were like 9-7, ten
Yeah.
and six. So uh, I think they'll get it together. It'll come down to Ravens and Bengals in that division, and we'll see how it plays out because the Bengals owned the Ravens last year in both games. So.
We'll
Just
see.
can't be losing any more games to inferior opponents that you should win.
That's
Should take the win against.
uh,
So we can
the
make
only
it.
other team in that
We'll make it.
division, huh?
What was that?
I was just saying the only other team in that division is the Steelers. I don't know what to make of them either. I mean, I knew offensively they were going to struggle because they only have Mitch Trubisky and a rookie. Um, uh, Best thing so far this season, I would have said is their overtime win against the Bengals, but it looks like the Bengals is more so the cause of that win than the Steelers being good. And I say the best thing about this season was Mike Tomlin doing the AB dance after that win. I think it was pretty hilarious. Everybody thought that they were on bad terms with this man out here doing this dance. And Mike Tomlin is probably my favorite coach in the league. I would play for that man any day. He's a great coach, and he does not lose. He hasn't had.
Great coach. That man is not. He's not had a losing record as a coach.
He does not lose.
I
He loses, but he
he's,
doesn't lose more than he wins.
yeah, like I mean, the man. I mean, he's been there 14 years, never had a losing season. It
Mm-hmm.
just great coach, great. Just seems like a great guy to be around. I
Their
would play
defense is
for him.
always good too. Their defense is always good.
TJ Watt out for a little bit with that torn pec. I think it
Yeah.
was 6 to 8 weeks. So
We'll see how much that affects them. They have the Browns this week. They actually play them Thursday. It's the Thursday night game. So I see them, taking care of business against the Browns. It's the Browns. So
as long as Nick Chubb goes for 203 touchdowns again, I'll be fine.
yeah.
So, you make a quick pit stop. We'll finish up this AFC division. We'll head to the very crappy AFC South. Um,
Let's just make it quick and say it's a shit show. There's nothing else to say about that division. It's a shit show. The Colts are underperforming. Nobody has a win in this league. We knew the Titans weren't going to be great. Jaguars, obviously. Texans, come on. And Colts.
Jags are 1-1, man. Jags are 1-1. Someone has to go to the playoffs from that division.
Who
We
did the
can see
Jaguars
Jacksonville
beat?
back in the playoffs.
Who did the Jaguars beat?
The Jaguars beat.
They beat the Colts. That
They beat.
it doesn't count when you beat your own division. I mean, it counts because you can look good and be number one in your division, but not when you're the worst division in the NFL. So they won't even make it. I don't think any of those teams will make a playoff.
Well, one will. One has to. So
I wish they wouldn't because I don't want to see any of them.
it's a waste of a game.
Yeah.
We're going to see someone like Cincinnati, Denver, LA going on the road to Jacksonville the first weekend of playoffs. So, but that wraps up divisional talk right now, conference talk. When we come back from a little break, we're going to be heading into Bengals Broncos, and we'll be recapping weeks 1 and 2 of our picks. We'll go ahead and say Jordan is awful and at these picks for NFL, and we'll touch on our TNJ Sports Podcast Fantasy League because me and Tyrone have a matchup this week. So we'll be right back. Took a short little break. Now we are back. We're going to go into our week 1 and week 2 picks. Obviously, we're a little bit behind, so we'll just recap with our records through weeks 1 and 2. And then we will move into our week 3 picks. So we'll start out week 1. Pretty average on both sides. I went 5-11. You had 6-10. I would live with that every week. The NFL go left or right, up and down. What do you think of our week 1 performance? Obviously,
it's week 1. I'm not 6-10. It's pretty bad, but honestly, I think we expected more out of certain teams than we seen.
We also didn't expect a tie.
Yeah. Not with the Colts and their supposed high power. No, I won't make a lie. That's not a high power offense. Just a better QB than Wentz. And Wentz out there and actually did his job and played great in week 1. I had him sitting on my
What a
bench
great week.
in fantasy football.
Yeah, I started Wentz last week, got me almost 28 points. So,
Oh yeah, he
uh,
did great. I started him this week and he did well week 2 and he did great.
yeah. So, we'll move on. Week 2, we're sitting here. We'll just go. You had a great week, 8-8, batting 500.
Yes, sir.
That's it's a pretty decent week. I did, yeah, I did not. I went 4-12 in week 2. That is just downright. That is disrespectful to having to talk about sports and be that bad. I got to
Yeah.
turn it around.
Don't worry,
Um,
there's a lot of analysts out there that are it's week 2. Honestly, like I said before, NFL is a hard thing to predict. You don't know what you're going to get on any given Sunday. They're professional athletes. They come out and play like they're professionals sometimes, and sometimes they don't. So unless you're Kirk Cousins and you play like boo boo.
yeah, and get paid 85 million guaranteed to play like dude.
Guys are
So
better
our
than me,
record.
so I can't really talk bad about them that bad. So
So my record through 2 weeks is sitting at 9-23.
mhm.
That's not good. Not good at all. You're sitting at 14-18. So uh that's a lot more respectable. I'm sitting at 28% correct. You're at 44% correct. So Jordan's going to turn it around this week. Week 3 got another full slate of 16 games going on. Starting with Thursday night games, Steelers and Browns.
Mm.
I'm gonna go take the Browns on this one. I just think that they're playing at home. Depending on what Nick Chubb can do, if they can stop the Steelers, not high potent offense. It's going to be a snoozer of a Thursday night game. I'll say that. But
It's
I'm going
football.
to go with
So,
the Browns.
yeah. It's football. We got to take what we get, I guess. There's college games on, so
Yeah.
we'll flip
So
channels.
I'm going Browns. Who you got?
I'm going with my favorite coach, Mike Tomlin. I think he knows this team very, very well, and he'll get his team ready for this game. I think Trubisky has a bounce back game where he only throws one interception. And I think the Steelers will squeak out with a win. It'll be very low scoring, and again, it won't be very interesting, but
I gotcha. Yep. So next game, Chiefs and Colts on Sunday. Uh, this is pretty easy. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm sure you are too. There's no insight into this. No insight needed. Um,
if somehow the Colts pull a win out here, I will be done making NFL picks for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I could be with you there. I mean, the Chiefs are coming off extra rest. They played on a Thursday in week 2, so I mean they've got extra rest, and then to go up against the Colts, that's going to be a shit show of a
Yeah.
game as well. So, moving on, Ravens Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Ravens on the road. I just think Lamar can end up being too much, and the Patriots can't score the ball and have no one to do what Tyreek and Jalen Waddle can do. So I'm going with the Ravens.
I'm going with the flock as well. The Ravens will fly high. Again, Bill Belichick is a great coach. He just knows how to play defensively against Lamar, but I think Lamar will be too much for them this year, and they'll get the dub.
Yeah. Next, 49ers Broncos.
Hmm.
I'm rolling with the Niners till the Broncos can score the football. I just think Jimmy G is going to step in and move the ball down the field like he always does. And of
Okay.
course, the Broncos defense can put a stop to that, but I just think the 49ers can squeak out a win. Are you going to go with your Broncos or are you rolling against them this week?
Here, Broncos country. Let's ride. Let's ride. I think Russell will. I think Russell Wilson's gonna ride us to the promised land. As weird and awkward as that sounds, I think he'll get to pass the ball like he wants to this game because again they have a tough front seven, so he's gonna have to get it out quick. I just hope he gets it out quick and Jerry Judy can stay healthy this game. Get the ball out quick. We're going to need Javonte Williams to be a great receiving back in this game. If we can run the ball during this game, then I see us having no problem winning. Obviously, you can say that about any game, but I think the Broncos will find a way to win this game, and hopefully get some chemistry down, and make the trajectory of this season go up.
Yeah, the only thing Russell Wilson's going to be riding is in the car to hold Sierra's shopping bags at the mall. His whip ass. We'll move on. Agree, disagree on that one. Texans, Bears, and I mean that's just not it. No one's going to watch that game outside of Houston and Chicago. I'm rolling with the Bears. They're at home. Who do you got?
I will be going with my new hometown team, the Bears, because there's no massages going on in Texas anymore.
That was a good one. That was great. So now next one. So we both got the Bears. Next game, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders and the Tennessee Titans. Titans playing at home. Honestly, Ryan Tannehill hasn't gotten the time to throw the football. Uh, their O line is getting injured left and right. They can't run the football. I just think the Raiders will get a much needed first win of the season on that one. What do you think?
Again, I think this defense is too powerful, not offense. I think the defense is too powerful. Derrick Henry won't be running and stiff arming people this game. Max Crosby's a beast. Believe he's healthy right now. Good to go. Titans just don't have it, man. I don't know what happened. What's the big difference? Oh, I know. They got rid of their best receiver. So yeah, the Titans are going to lose this game, and the Raiders will maybe use their best receiver in the league and get Devontae Adams some more catches and touchdowns.
Yeah, I did. Throwing away AJ Brown. I mean, you got a first round pick, but you got a guy that didn't make it through, OTAs and mini camps,
Yeah,
sitting out with asthma.
asthma.
I
Yeah,
mean that. I mean that just magically came up after you drafted him. Um, and I mean he seems like a good kid, good player. He's just gonna have to stay on the field, but he's not. There's no way for him to step in and fill those shoes. Robert Woods isn't going to fill AJ Brown's shoes. So you got no outside deep threat. You got no O line. The Titans are in for a long season.
yeah,
Bills and Dolphins looks like a high-powered game this week. I'm rolling with the Bills. I also think it will be a little closer than what these past couple games for the Bills have been.
yeah.
Um, they've kind of blown out LA and Tennessee, but what do you think about that Bills Dolphins game? I know we touched on it earlier. That it's probably going to be a really good game.
Yeah. I think it'll be a really good game for the first 10 minutes of the game. And then the Bills will prove to be too dominant because that defense, again, is number one in the AFC. Their offense is number one in the AFC. Dolphins can have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and Tua can play like he did in the second half against the Ravens. I still don't think it'll be enough. Josh Allen, man, that guy's just a different beast. He's a different breed out there. So I got my money on the Bills.
Yeah, I definitely think Bills will take that one. Moving on, Detroit and Minnesota, Lions, Vikings. We touched on the Lions earlier, maybe being a sneaky playoff team. Definitely could be top half in that division. I'm rolling with the Lions. I think they've got some good mojo going on right now. Vikings coming off a short week, getting absolutely blasted by Philadelphia. I just don't. Kirk Cousins ain't it. And
Yep.
I mean, not that Jared Goff is it, but he's just being a little bit more reliable at the moment. So I'm rolling with the Lions.
Well, if they're going to sneak into the playoffs, they got to do it with these gimme games. And I got the Lions sneaking into the playoffs this year, like you said. So, yeah, I got them winning.
All right, so we agree there. Most of these have been in agreement, so a couple here and there. So maybe my record won't be as bad this week, or yours will be as worse as mine is. So
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll move on halfway through. Bengals at Jets. I think that the Bengals have got to show something at some point. I think this is the week to do it.
Yeah.
You got Jamar Chase on out. Need to throw the ball downfield. Joe Burrow pulled a good old. We need to relax today in his press conference. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna relax and watch the Bengals beat the tar out of the Jets on Sunday. What do you think?
Um, I think this will be a Bengals win. But there's only one thing about throwing the ball deep. Do not throw it towards Sauce Gardner. That guy will make you pay for it. He's a great DB. I hope Joe Burrow just knows the if I'm sure because he's a young guy, rookie, he's going to want to guard the best. So I'm sure he's going to want to be on Jamar Chase when he's in, T. Higgins when he's in. So as long as Joe Burrow stays away from him, I think they'll be fine.
Yep. So stay away from Sauce Gardner with his one of one autographed card with a. Did you see the card with the B Dubs Honey Barbecue sauce signature?
I did not see that, but that's good, man. That's smart.
They have a collaboration with B Dubs and Sauce Gardner, so it was a pretty good thing. Moving on, Eagles Commanders. This is going to be an Eagles. I think it might end up being a little closer. I mean, the Eagles defense pretty good. Carson Wentz loves to throw the ball to anybody and everybody, but he does like to throw the football. So um, I think it might be a little closer. Definitely be a little closer than the Vikings game. I don't think the Eagles are going to win that big, but I got the Eagles.
You already know I'm taking the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is going to again have a stellar game, even though it's at Washington. If somehow they can get um, their defensive end that's out, what's his name? Blanking on his name, but they can somehow get him back. That's the only way I could see Jalen Hurts being stopped. That defense is nothing to be threatened by. I think Jalen Hurts is going to go off for 3 touchdowns, and yeah, and the Eagles will come out with a win.
Yeah, I don't think Chase Young will be back
Chase
this
Young.
week.
There we go.
Finally clicked. But yeah, so we both got the Eagles. Moving on, Saints Panthers. As much as a gimme game as I think the Saints will get coming to back off that game against the Bucks this past week.
Hmm.
I'm going with the Saints. I think Kamara should be back. You still got Mike Thomas, Chris Olave. I
Hmm.
think Jameis control the ball a little bit better. Don't throw so many interceptions. But at some point, you got to push the ball downfield
Yeah,
when you're down. So I'm rolling with the Saints down on the road on Sunday. What you got?
I'm going with the Saints as well, man. I think Jameis Winston, like you said, control the ball. Don't try to take the deep ball as much. Mike Thomas is not a big deep ball guy. He's more of that slant route, hitch route, get him the ball quick and let him do the work. And then if Kamara is back, give him the ball in space and let them work. Don't force it downfield unless it's, give me, but it's Jameis Winston. He's going to do what he does. He do what we do, if he would say it. Whenever he gives his hype speech, it's probably one of the most hilarious things. He is probably definitely the most funniest man without being the most funniest man. But yeah, I got the Saints, man.
Oh, all right. So we got Jags, Chargers. I think depending upon Justin Herbert, I don't know. I'm making this. I believe he'll play.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think Trevor Lawrence and the Jags might sneak one up on the Chargers. I know they've had a long break from that week 2 Thursday night game to
Hmm.
kind of heal up, but if Keenan Allen, I know he's still questionable. Justin Herbert isn't 100%. He's not 100%. We'll see how it plays out, but I think I'm going to take the Jags with maybe the one and only upset this week.
Wow, you have no faith in Chase Daniels? You don't think he can get it done?
No, I don't. And I just something about the Chargers. I just don't really believe in the Chargers that much. So
Well, if Chase Daniels can stick to the game plan, I gave Justin Herbert. If he was healthy, get the ball to Mike Williams, then he should be fine. Please give Austin Eckler the ball more. My fantasy team is crying for it, so I hope they give him the ball a little bit more. But yeah, if Justin Herbert is back, I got the Chargers. If he's not back and it's Chase in there, I still think the Chargers will be too much for the Jags. But it'd be nice to see the Jaguars, get a dub there. I'm rooting for Trevor
yeah,
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson. It finally seems like they've got something going in the right direction down there.
Definitely.
Uh, Speaking of Chargers and fantasy, that's probably why I'm a little salty. That is my underlying reason is, uh, I had a championship game fantasy football last year. Came down to my opponent had Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, and I believe Keenan Allen going in that Sunday night football game that went to overtime and cost me about $600. So that's definitely where my saltiness comes from there. With moving on, Rams Cardinals. Cardinals lucked into a win last week in against Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't really believe the Kyler Murray hype. He doesn't look that good. And anytime you gotta put in a stipulation that he has to do some homework and studying on his own,
Hmm.
I mean his heart just ain't in it. He's fleeced them for a contract, and I just think Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cup, gonna be too much for that Cardinals team. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Um, I'm going on the other side. I feel like the Rams just can't get it together in these first couple weeks. Their
They
defense is
haven't looked
out.
great. I'll give you that. They haven't looked great either side of the ball.
Matthew Stafford's got to stop throwing to the other team in order for me to have faith in them. Getting a win here. And again, they did play the toughest defense in Buffalo, but then you played Atlanta and you're still struggling to, get separation there and to actually look good. Jalen Ramsey is him. Yeah, he'll let you know he is him. So I think that would be a disadvantage right there for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray needs to not throw his way, but then again, he has Bobby Wagner coming down, probably smacking him in his head. So it's going to be hard for him to get the ball. But I'm going with the upset here with the Cardinals. So
Okay, we gotta do one. Don't have to, but feel like you gotta have one upset a week.
yeah,
That might be it there. Did you see the video on Twitter of Kyler Murray running around from the Vegas defense, and someone said he looks like a kid, a toddler who stole his parents' phone, and they're trying to get it back from him. I can't unsee that now
man, they
because
said that
it's so
a
true.
year. They said like a year ago he looks like an angry toddler when he runs. So now every time I see him and he does that, these quick little arm motions, I'm like, dang, that looks like my niece running right now. It's so funny, but it worked for him in overtime. Well, to get him in overtime this week. So hopefully he gets those little legs moving again this week and can get him a win.
Gotta do something. Falcons, Seahawks, Battle of the Birds. This is pretty much
Birds.
a throw game. Who it's pretty much a pick 'em game, honestly, in my eyes. I'm gonna roll with the Falcons. You know, it's at Seattle. I've got the Falcons down here. I'm gonna roll with it. I already put it down,
Yeah.
put it on the paper. Who do you got?
I think the 12th man is going to be too much, as we've seen in week one against the Broncos. I think the 12th man is a huge factor when anybody plays the Seahawks, no matter how bad the Seahawks are. So I think the Seahawks will squeak out this win.
I got you. I can see that it's literally a toss-up game in my eyes. They both
Yeah.
aren't that good. Teams. All right, moving in Sunday night game. NBC Packers at Bucks. We got the Brady and Rogers showdown. Uh, Brady has won 3 straight matchups against Aaron Rodgers. I'm going with the Bucks at home opener. I know they're down receivers galore, but I think somehow Tom always seems to get it done in the primetime games.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling with the Bucks. You going with me or are you going against me on this one?
I got to keep it interesting, of course, and make it three in a row, well, four in a row right here. I'm going with the Packers. I just feel like, when he doesn't have the receivers he needs to facilitate the ball quickly, they're going to bring that pressure. And you have Jair Alexander out there who will intercept anything else that you throw his way. And there's no really stud receivers for the Buccaneers or anybody that can create separation from Jair or any other DB they have out there for that matter. I think there'll be too much, and Aaron Rodgers will find a way to utilize what weapons he does have. Hopefully, it's Aaron Jones that he gives the ball to, but we'll see. I just think it's going to be too much. Packers are going to be too much, and he'll, get that win.
I got you. So uh, let's head in Monday Night Football.
Mm,
Probably after having your doubleheader of Monday Night Football last week, drew huge ratings. ESPN has to be throwing a fit for having Cowboys and Giants on Monday Night Football. Might be the least watched game of all weekend. That's saying something when you have Texans Bears. I'm gonna roll with the Giants. They didn't impress me. The Cowboys did not impress me last week. The Bengals beat themselves basically. I mean, the Bengals defense shut down the Cowboys for all of a minute 30 not even, maybe a minute left in the second half. So a minute of the second half, the Cowboys were able to move the football. I just think the Giants 2-0, they're on a roll.
hmm
I think they'll take that one, especially being at home.
Yeah. Um, I'm going with you with the Giants, but I do think it's actually will probably be an interesting game to watch. I think it'll still be a lot of viewers because you do have America's team in the Cowboys, and you do have what is seen as America's greatest city in the New York Giants. So I feel like the fans of the Giants are really hyped up that they're 2-0. They'll definitely want to see the Giants beat the America's team on primetime Monday night. And you want to see what the Cowboys do. They have a great defense still. Their defense is still stout. It's just offensively, they can't do much without Dak. So I think this will be kind of a barn burner, but I think the Giants will squeak out a win. And the Manning brothers will make a Manning cast, make it interesting to watch. So,
That is true. I forget about the Manning cast. Sometimes it does make it good, but the Manning cast also was a way for people to escape the horrible announcers that they did
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And now they got Buck and Aikman, and I'm one of the people that actually don't mind Joe Buck. So, um,
Aikman's a
but
good, he's good. If they got Tony Romo on there, I would definitely watch it. Tony Romo is just like the Manning Bros, but he's more analytical and he's like in the game. He's like staying focused on the game. He doesn't have people he's interviewing and talk. There's only some times where I'm watching the Manning cast and I'm like, all right, can I see the game a little bit? You're talking too much. I'm trying to focus, but I think it's just because the Broncos were playing and I was upset we were losing to the Seahawks. Any other time, Manning cast is I'm great with it. I love seeing it. I love watching it, of course, because I think Peyton Manning's best quarterback of all time. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. So yeah.
so, all right. So those are week three picks and the recap of my our horrible and average records of picking NFL games through 2 weeks. So,
You're 9 and
uh,
23 and then in 2 days it'll be 9-23. That's pretty funny.
I'm not
Random but funny. Yeah.
random and funny. Well, no, well, we'll see. Might get pushed back if the Steelers win. I'll be 9-24.
Ooh.
So it'll just keep happening.
Be
So,
optimistic. You'll be 10-23.
if I'm 10-23, that's at the expense of you dropping to 14-19. So, but all right, off track. Let's get back on track. We have finished our picks. We've got to talk. I'm going to run through just a little bit of Bengals recap this week. Little irritated, starting out 0-2, not losing faith. Um, will say we spent a lot of money on an offensive line, and they've allowed 13 sacks. I will say almost half those sacks are on Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's going to need to throw the ball away. Now, should he get pressured that quick? No, but at the same time, throw the ball away. In light of O line allowing 13 sacks, your offense looks awful. Can't move the ball down the field. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs anymore, but I'm not going to lose faith. I think I think they'll get on a run here soon.
I
But upcoming schedule: Jets, Dolphins, Ravens, and Saints. I mean, that could be 0-4, 1-3, 2-2. Anything above that is a surprise and a shock, and
mm,
I'll be happy. But
yeah.
obviously, they just got to get back to playing like they were in the playoffs. So, um,
As the great Coach O told us every game week, you got to go 1-0 every week, man. Just go 1-0. I think they'll go 1-0 this week against the Jets, and then you just got to bounce back and be ready for the Dolphins. Dolphins will be beat up pretty bad after playing the Bills, so you may get them in the second week. So just go 1-0, man. Just go 1-0.
getting the Dolphins on a short week at home. Like you said, after they play the Bills, that'll be pretty good. Best case scenario, maybe, honestly. So I mean the Bengals. I mean, odd stat with the Bengals: their last 5 games have been 3-point wins or losses,
Yeah,
dating back into the playoffs of last year. So a little weird stat. They've either won by 3 or lost by 3 the past 5 games. So
that means they're just one
um,
play away, man. That's one play away from being 3-0 in those games.
and with all the turnovers that we've had, being within a field goal of overtime or winning in both of those games, I mean,
Mm.
um, it is what it is. I think the Steelers lost. If our long snapper didn't get hurt, I mean, we would have won that in regulation easily because the extra point would have been good.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, I mean, just shooting ourselves in the foot. I'll keep faith. We'll flip it. You got anything you want to add on your Broncos before we move into fantasy recap and into this thing?
Um, I won't be a Debbie Downer. I would love to see. I think we will bounce back this week. For some reason, we love to play great and high pressure games like this against good teams. Um, I'll actually be more worried if we were playing somebody like the Jets. So I think we show up when we need to show up. So I think this week we will win. And I just want to see Russ get back to the old Russell, and hopefully Jerry Judy's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it for the season. You've got the weapons, you've got the quarterback, you've got the defense. Maybe it's just putting it all together. At some point, maybe Russ needs to get, I think maybe take a step and push away Hackett from some of his decisions,
Mm-hmm.
like 4th and 5 in week 1. You paid Russell Wilson, put him out there to win the game. There's no reason to try a
Yeah.
66-yard, 64-yard field goal at that point. You know,
McManus is a
five,
great kicker, but that's too much to put on him. Justin Tucker is by far the best kicker to ever play the game, but I still think the Ravens wouldn't put him through that predicament. They would try to go for that 4th and 5. Like you just said, you pay this man, $253 million. You can think of 253 reasons why um, they should have went for it on 4th and 5. I'd rather them go for it there and not get it than make that attempt. And it's like you pretty much don't have faith in Russell Wilson or your offense to get 5 yards.
yeah.
So
So, I mean, I think both of our teams will bounce back this week and
hmm,
push ahead and maybe show some promise,
yeah,
Um,
remain
but
optimistic.
remain optimistic. All right. Well, let's get into something else, a little bit more optimistic. Fantasy football, coming off of a week 1 where we both took the L to start the year out.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost by 60. That was pretty demoralizing. I still scored more than you,
Yeah.
but I lost 155 to 95. Then I got you down. You lost 104-88. So it's closer. Um, I try not to overreact too much in fantasy, but there's money on the line, and sometimes you get into panic mode.
Oh yeah.
But I made some adjustments from week one. Looks like you did too, because you
Yeah.
almost scored 100 points more than you did in week one. You dropped 177 on your opponent in week two, who
Hmm.
scored 144. I think, like you said, dude would have beat every other team in the league by a comfortable margin last week,
Hmm.
but he played you, and you decided to blow up. So,
It was Jalen Waddle
and
and
I
Lamar
won one.
Jackson. It was Waddle and Jackson going off for me.
So, I took the dub last week as well. So we're both 1-1 going into week three. Last I checked, projection wise from ESPN, you are favored 118 to 109 this week.
Hmm.
Um, I think I looked at that yesterday. I think I've moved some people around, so it's might have changed up a little bit.
Yeah, you're projected
Um,
111 right now, so you're up 2 points.
well,
It's not bad.
up 2 points. So I mean, I think it'll be a fun week. A lot of shit talking probably going to go back and forth over the next few days.
Yeah.
You, how are you feeling with your squad going into this week and their matchups?
Unlike the NFL, this is kind of more stressful when making adjustments because when you're making a pick in the NFL, you're just, especially this early, you're just, like, all right, the Bills, this, and this, Broncos, this and this. But here you're like, you're going on a player skill level. Like, I'm thinking Lamar Jackson's going to outperform Matt Stafford, in my opinion. But then again, Lamar's playing against New England, who gives him problems defensively, and Matt Stafford's playing against Arizona, who just, can give up a lot of points. So honestly, I just hope I put in the right guys. You hate to see the guy on the bench outscore the guy you have in the actual game. So I'm hoping to see all my players that are starting at least outperform the ones on the bench. I'll be fine because I played what I had best. So
Well, I mean, I can agree with that one. I've got hopefully Keenan Allen comes off the injured list this week and jumps back in there. Now I really need some points at wide receiver. I also need Josh Jacobs to show up. I don't know. Still deciding on who my RB2 is going to be. So, um, and tight end, I need to look at that too. But I mean, I feel all right. I think it'll be one of those weeks that'll do some good. So I'm excited. Excited to go at each other this week and have a good show next week, recapping my victory. So.
yeah. Well, we're looking forward to, hopping on again next week and keeping consistent with the NFL. Um, we had a long podcast for you all today, but we hope you stuck around and listened to it because it does have a lot in there. We have a lot to unpack about the NFL season. It's a big long season, so we got a lot to share with you. We love sharing with you. We hope you enjoy listening. Again, if you have anything to say to us, or if you want to hop on, please reach out. We'd love to have you on, and we'd love to hear your comments, whether you're for what we have to say or against what we have to say. That's the whole point of sharing our opinions. We know it may not be received well from fans such as a Kirk Cousins fan. If those exist, I don't know if they'll even exist, but if there's a Kirk Cousins fan who doesn't like it, feel free to jump on the show. We would love to have you.
Yeah, no, that'd be a fun conversation because there's nothing you can tell me to change my mind.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just like T Stalls is saying, we appreciate you listening. There was a lot to unpack this week. It'd be a little bit shorter, going forward. But definitely check us out next week. See, check back in, see who won week three of our fantasy matchup. Uh, you know, see how your team does, what we've got to say about them. Check out our NCAA podcast episodes because I
Mm.
know if you're sitting here watching NFL, you're probably watching college on Saturdays too, just like we are. So I think we just want to thank you for listening. Definitely reach out, and I think that's all we got for you this week. You got anything else?
Make a parlay bet with our picks and win some money because I haven't yet. So
Make the parlay bets with Tyrone's picks because I'm not giving you the authority to use mine because mine are awful.
uh,
I'm not liable for you losing money off of my judgment.
Now,
So
don't bet a lot. Bet a dollar or something. I don't want to encourage over gambling. I only bet dollars, and
yeah,
it's just something
don't
fun
go
to add to it.
don't go throwing $1,000 on a 16 team parlay. Now, if you do, we want to cut.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you do,
that's
if
the
you do,
deal.
we want to cut
Yeah.
because we gave you those picks. But if that's all you got, that's all I got, guys. We're gonna sign off from this one. I hope y'all have a great week and just check back in. Let us know what you think. Drizzy signing out.
T Stall signing out. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.